For this meeting is being recorded. Now, I think should be starting right now. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming online for this meeting. My name is Tommy Olatunde. I represent Choice Genetics, basically the African continent, along with good support by Gate Robot. Our topic this evening is going to be focused on the basic problems that most farmers are facing for the past few months, which is feed cost that has risen exorbitantly because of various geopolitical problems that that we are facing, meaning the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. Now, my good friend Chris Bulundwa is joining in from Uganda. I'm going to talk basically on sow efficiency, and Chris will chip in with the feed part of the equation. All right. So I want to say that this meeting is an interactive one. I don't think it should be a problem if you stop me along the way if there are things that we don't understand, so that we can make sure that everybody goes home. You know, we understand each other at the end of the day. Yeah, just a moment. Let me. Because there are still people coming up, people are still coming in, so we have to monitor that. Just a moment. Okay. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. I think we can start now. Okay. All right. Point. As we all know by now, Choice Genetics belongs to a bigger group. Grimaud, it's a French, with a French family business group that basically are active in the biopharmacy industry, animal genetic selection industry, and new farming techniques. Yeah, all forms of new farming techniques. We are active in waterfowl production, so the genetics, layers, genetics, rabbits, pigs, of course, shrimps, and of late, fly genetics. Okay. It's really taking some time. All right. Now, our topic of today is the importance of soil efficiency. As we have said earlier, we pointed out that nowadays the high feed cost is a problem, and yeah, there are ways around it. There are ways around it. High feed raw materials, mainly corn, basic raw materials, wheat, barley, soybeans, and etc. etc. Call it what? PKC, whichever case, you know, that may be that all the raw materials that you might be using in your various locations. The common factor is that there has been an increase of a minimum of around 50 to 60% for the past year. So this is definitely affecting the industry profitability, and less and less money is being taken home by farmers. So this is what we are trying to address here, so that farmers and the pork meat producers know alternative ways of going around this problem. All right, in solving and trying to make the best of the situation. All right, nobody is saying that it's gonna we can never know for how long it's gonna last. We don't know, and yeah, but we have to look for ways to tackle these problems. I'm sorry because I'm admitting people also. Okay. Now, my next slide. This has been a topic I have always wanted to discuss and to make people aware of. Pure line sows or parent stock. Because wherever you go in Africa, everybody talks about pure line, large white, Landras, Duro, Hampshire, whatever. Okay? Is it the best for production or parent stock? Because right now, we have to be clear and and know which animals we are really feeding to get what from each particular animal. Okay, This is why I'm bringing this topic, to try to clarify this topic. Now, one thing I want to establish is that pure lines, okay, I'm using the example of our M3 large white and our M6 landrace. Pure lines are pure lines. They are what they are, okay? They are pure lines, exactly what they are called. Now, they have some basic characteristics, all right? They have basic characteristics which differ from line to line, meaning that the large white differs in characteristics from the landrace. For example, the large white is a docile animal, easy to manage, and has very good maternal qualities. All right. On the other hand, the landrace has a very good milk production base. She's a good milking sow. She is very hyper prolific and very, very stable. Now, what I want to point out here is if you choose a pure line large white, of course, she is a good sow, but then she has limitations in what she can give you as a producer as a producer of meat. All right, she will give you docility, she will give you ease of management and maternal qualities. She can never be compared to the landrace, at least the M6 landrace, in terms of prolificacy. Nor can she be compared to the M6 landrace in terms of maximum milk production. Yes, she also produces milk, but it's not at the same level. So what I want to point out here is that when you choose either landrace or large white, talking about pure lines, you restrict yourself, basically, okay? This is what I want to establish here. You restrict yourself to the characteristics of each of the breeds that you have chosen, either landrace, large white, or Duroc, or whatever. Right? Whichever is now, basic, please, I would like that we mute ourselves, please, because there are so many people. Mute ourselves. Thank you very much. Okay, now, going ahead to establish this fact, you see that the M3 large white has a 2.5 average parity. She has a fertility record average of around 92%, total bone 16.9, live bone 15.6. She can win as much as 14. All right. If you go on the other side, we see the M6, basically almost the same. What do I want to point out here, however? Okay, I want to point out the fact that they don't have the durability, unfortunately, that their progeny has. Okay, and this is what you will see in the next slide. Okay, now the cross of the M3 large white and the M6 M3 large white and the M6 large white landrace will give you a daughter sow, which is the parent stock, the F1 sow. Okay, this is very, very important. The F1 sow is the daughter of both of the two previous grandparents pure line animals that we spoke earlier, which is the M3 and the M6. Okay. Now, as we all know, the daughter is always better than the parents. All right. So this is why on already you see that the CG36, which is the daughter of the pure lines, is winning an average of 80 piglets. All right, in a lifetime, compared to 2.7 or 2.8, if you might recall, the average number of parities for the pure lines. So if you divide 80 by 13, so you see already that we already doubled the life expectancy, okay, from what it was with the pure lines compared to the CG36, so that when the pure line is giving you maximum of 3 parities, their daughter is giving you a minimum of 6, which is an average. All right. Heredity gives the daughter 16 teeth, okay, which is given down from the pure lines, and then a minimal mortality, sow mortality. So which all helps in what we call return on investment, okay? Because everything is expensive now. We have to streamline and look at all the, all the corners, okay? Aim is to increase our profit margin. Okay. Now, why all this and how is this all happening? It's because we at Choice, our approach to this business is that we believe that the piglets must be weaned by their biological mothers. Okay, that is why we invest in 16 teeth on each F1 sow or parent stock. All right, so that each of the F1 sow with 16 teeth can nurse all the piglets born. You don't need to foster. With the CG36, okay, she has inherited the milk production from one of our from the M6, which qualifies, make it possible that she has colostrum production which goes around the piglets. So all the piglets have ability to suckle. The number of piglets born alive from heredity comes down from their mothers, from the grandparents. The average birth weight, very important nowadays. Average birth weight has to be a minimum of around 1 kilo. We are talking about an average of 1.4, a kilo 0.4 at birth. Okay, and that the litter should be uniform. All these things put together, qualifies for a very good start in our production. All right, when a piglet starts at the age, is born at a weight of 1.4 kilos compared to a piglet born at 700 grams, we can understand the difference. Okay, this is what we are talking about. This is what we select for. Now, you can also see here some data from the parent stock. So I think right now we have established that the parent stock is better than the pure line animals for the production of meat, which is our aim. Okay. Now, I will go further to show you some data, some statistics. All right, from the year that passed, from Latin America, of course, which has Latin America has climatic conditions which are very similar to that of in most of the African countries. So it's and of course my good friend Chris will shed some light, okay, later on about the feed part of it, and he will give us some information about how the guilds, the pure lines, are doing in Uganda. Now you see that the bone alive starts from the first parity to almost 15 and surpasses 15 point something, the second parity, and the third parity, which is the highest, it goes until 16 piglets bone alive on the average. Okay, these are the numbers that we're supposed to be talking about. Okay, multiplied by 2.4 parities per year. So you can already calculate how many piglets you are expecting from each and every sow you are feeding on your farm. Now, later on, just to buttress the fact that the progeny, the daughter, which is the parent stock, is far better, and she's really doing very well, is the evolution of the number of teats. All right, now we're talking of, as of last year, we're talking about 16.12 teats per selected guild. All right, that left our offices. So this is what we work on, so that we can deliver good animals, and farmers can have very good products to invest on, so that they can, you know, profit. Of course, profit is the apart from the number of teats, we also select for the average daily gain. We see that for the CG36, the CG36 is reducing the days that it needs to get the age at which it reaches the weight of 115 kilos is reducing. It's reducing from 177 days in 2016. Now it has reduced until 173 days. All right, this is selection, continuous selection. Now, you'll be wondering, how would all these things add up to improve your farm? We'll see later on that we've reduced by 5 days in 5 years. Now, these are data from Latin America. Okay, this is data from Latin America. Live bone piglets on the average are around 15 piglets born alive, an average weight of around 1.4, 1.3, 1.4 kilos. All right, in 21 days, they are weaned, all right, at a weight of between 6 and 5.8 kilos. Okay, you see it here, 22, 23 days. So based on the production, you see that per year, these farms are producing 36 piglets are weaned per sow in a year. 36 piglets are weaned per sow in a year. You cannot do this with pure lines. I can assure you that. You cannot do this with pure lines. Pure lines are for specific reasons. They are for multiplication units. Okay, I just want this to be very, very clear. Of course, our technical service team will provide key points for maximizing our genetic potential. Now, also very important in identifying progress or in trying to see where we are lagging is the need for record keeping. There are lots of softwares online. Okay, I just brought up some here. My piggery manager, Pig Up from E-ZOOTECH, Sow Watcher. These are softwares that are available in the market. They are very, very important. All these data that I gave earlier, okay, if somebody never sat down to gather them, I would not have been able to present it to you. All right, but then it's needed so that you know where your company is lagging behind so that you can improve. Now, all these together are factors along with these, the following that will show up now. Now, apart from what I've said earlier, okay, to improve our performances as farmers, to improve our performances as pig meat producers, all these factors, for example, the animal genetics, very, very important. The farmer or the farm manager is very important. Management, health, feed. Today, we are going to be talking about the animal and the feed. Okay, we will still, because it's such a big topic, we will restrict ourselves. So I will be talking about the animals, and my good friend Chris will chip in about the feed later on. Now, the animals' welfare and the improvement of our herd starts from the introduction of the guild, the replacement program, the replacement management, how we replace our animals, what kind of animals we bring in, how, you know, the procedure we use. Very important, because the guilds that enter into our farm will be the sow of tomorrow. She will be the one that will replace the old herd, so she has to be brought in. Okay, she has to be introduced very, very well with the normal process into the system. Now, here we're talking about self-replacement. In case you are doing self-replacement, which is not the case in most of African countries, animals are usually brought in. Normally, they should come in between the ages of 170, 187 days, and they should be in between 100 and 125 kilos. This is the maximum. All right, you can bring in guilds at a lower age also. But then I am sure those gilts they have not gone through the rigorous selection process that they are supposed to have gone through. Okay, because they are selected, because you buy them, you are investing in them, and then they have to be they have to bring in evolution into your farm, in your farming herd. Now, from the arrival of those gilts into your farm until the first mating, all right, it takes some 2-3 months, all right, so that your animals will attain a weight of 140, 150 kilos before they are mated or inseminated. All right, so they must also have a back fat size of between 13 and 16 millimeters, so that to allow them to be able to survive the gestation period and to be able to suckle the piglets that they will give birth to for the first time. This is very, very important, because these gilts are being paid for, and they have to bring in add-ons into your production. Now, usually we please let's mute ourselves. Usually we inseminate at the 3rd or the 4th estrus, so that we are sure that these gilts are coming into heat, so we don't waste our time. So which means that upon arrival of these gilts, they are also censored. They are also verified, so that they don't just stay in the farm and be eaten for the next 2-3 months. Okay, we are talking about economy now. We are talking about efficiency. So we have to be very, very careful with all these procedures. All right. If along the 3 months we identified a gilt that has not come into heat, has not suckled, it's better that gilt or that animal is sent to the abattoir. Doesn't make sense feeding an animal that doesn't give you anything back. All right, that is what I'm trying to point out here, so that when these animals are inseminated for the first time at that age and at that weight, they've come into farrowing, all right, to be having between 180, 120, 200 kilos, all right, with an average age of between 330 days and 385 days old, and with an improved back fat, which can go as much as 80 millimeters, so that they are ready for the for the suckling piglets by the time they are born. Now, this is all these are very, very important. All right, so that it all comes back to selection. Selection, selection, selection. Oh, sorry. Now, criteria for successful gilt introduction. Gilts that have lower fertility are not good, are not okay to be kept on the farm. They should either be sent to the abattoir. Okay? Low fertility piglets or gilts to be sent to the abattoir. Prolificacy, sub-prolific gilts that are problematic when they are giving you less than 14 piglets. All right, and when they have small litters, they should be more than 7%. Okay, so our goal is practically 90% fertility, more than 15 total born piglets, and 5%, less than 5% to be the small litters. These are the criteria that we should be using in maintaining our sow herd. Okay, if we can maintain our sow herd at the goal, at this yellow part, I mean, your production will be very, very high. Now, factors that determine sow efficiency. Housing. This is very, very important. Where you keep your pigs, your sows. All right. I hear many, many questions about whether the pens that pens that we usually see around are good and they are okay. I tell people, why don't you buy a farrowing crate? Because since you are investing in good animals, you already invested in good animals. I don't see why you should not invest in having a farrowing crate, so that you reduce the possibility of your sow crushing the piglets. So it can be very depressing, unfortunately depressing when your sow will give birth to 15, 16 piglets, and because you did not invest in a farrowing crate, all right, the first night 5 are crushed, so you remain with 10. So you can understand the discussion. I think in Nigeria, Big Dutchman is very active in the market, and they have ranges of farrowing crates, and they have solutions for housing, so that the pigs that we keep can have a very good environment, which also follows that when we have a good environment, we have good sanitary conditions, cleanliness of the pens, of our halls, of our farm. Very, very important for the progress and evolution of our pigs, basically our sow head, and later on our pigs. Feeding plan. Feeding plan, my good friend Chris will talk about that later on, so I will not go much into that. Reproduction preparation, to preparing our sows for production. When we talk about efficiency, we talk about getting the most out of our sows. Okay, you cannot feed a sow for 3 months, another 2 months, and then she's giving back to 7 piglets. With the price of corn today, it's a loss. I can assure you that. Okay, it's a loss. Today, it's a loss. Genetic companies have done lots of work in terms of selecting hyper-prolific animals selecting animals that are adaptable to our environment, to our climate. So all we need to do is collaborating with one. Okay, you get the animals, you put it in an environment, you go with a correct feed plan, good sanitary conditions, and sky is your limit. Okay, if you recall, you are weaning a minimum of 13 piglets per sow, and you are doing 2.3 liters in a year, I don't think you should be having a problem. Okay, and we can prove that. Now, conditioning of the, as we said earlier, we established earlier, the gilts are the future sows, the sows of tomorrow. So these sows have to be brought into the system properly. So these gilts are fed until 100 kilos, all right? They are fed with normal grower diets, okay? More of this will be discussed later, of course, will be touched by Chris. All right. It is, however, very, very important for me to point out here that after 100 kilos, after your gilt is 100 kilo, it is very important that these gilts are fed with respective gilt rations, because we do not want muscle development and increased fat reserve. We don't want them to be fatness. We want gilt that will later become sows. All right. We don't want the 850 grams of a fattener. No, we want the average daily gain to be around 550 grams. Yes, this is what we want, because in this way, we can be able to really groom the tomorrow sow. So that we establish an average after 100 kilo live weight. We established already, that we try to trim them down, streamline their intake to be around between 2 to 2.4 kilos per day of the respective correct diet, not PKC. Okay? Why am I saying so? Because you have invested in an animal that is of high genetic value. Don't forget that. So these animals must be fed, must be taken in between 19 and 22 net energy megajoules per day on a lysine, lysine of around between 11 and 13 grams every day. This is the need of the animal, and these needs have to be met. If you don't meet them, you will have subproduction, because you will have problems at a point in time. Because why are we feeding them? Because our goal is not so that they will have a thick, a back fat, which is very, very important. Because when these gilts are introduced very well into the system, they become very good sows that produce and can go a long way in giving you more and more piglets in their lifetime before they are called. And that is the aim here, so that we have a minimum of 7-8 parities. so that your sows, your parents' livestock can be given back to as many as 8 times. Okay, this is the aim, so that they give you the money back. All right. Now, let's go to the next slide. Now, as we said earlier, these are just some basic need, nutritional ration, you know, the needs for animals, for the gilts. 3.2 kilocal, 3,200 kilocal per kilo, 0.65 when you are giving her 2 kilos per day. When you're giving her 2.4 kilos, you can reduce the megajoule to 3,000. All right, and the energy and the total energy per day to be 7.2 because you are giving more feed. So all these, I always advise, we have to deal with nutritionists, people that are specialized, all right, to help us calculate and solve these problems. Now, where the problem starts in the introduction of our guilt, that later shows when this guilt becomes sours, is that when the lysine level, for example, then because I hear many people, they even feed fattener feed to guilt. So when you are feeding a guilt with a fattener feed, which has more than 65% lysine levels, all right, then that sow will be creating more and more meat. All right. Or when you are feeding the sow freely, ad libitum. Okay, we said you feed them until 100 kilos. Until 100 kilos, you can feed them ad libitum. Yes, done. You can feed them ad libitum. But then after 100 kilos, you should restrict them with a particular diet. All right. Now, also, make sure that you don't service the gilts early. You don't service them earlier than 240 days. It's like taking, you know, a small girl, and you know, I don't know how to explain this. When you service a gilt that's less than 240 days old, she will not go the full length of it. Please, let's all mute ourselves, please. Let's mute ourselves, please. Okay, she will not go long. The number of parities will be reduced. Usually, this kind of guilt, they don't do more than 2 or 3 parities. Then you see them with the bones in their back. They start, you know, they become like fish. And you know, at the end of the day, you just, after the 3rd parity, you just either have to discard of them or they die. Now, for example, these are 3 sows. One in the middle has 11. So you can already see, okay, that she has a low back fat, which is not good for the future. All right. She is not a good future sow. Now, we do not want sows that look like fatteners. This sow looks like a fattener. Okay? They are not good. Look at them. They are fat. They don't have the qualities that are needed, you know, for as a sow. Okay? To maintain, remember we said we want to maintain the production and the return on investment on your farm. Sow number 15 is a very, very good sow. You look at it, she's full and she has 15 back fat. And the one next to her is around 13 back fat. These are the kind of sows. This is what I mean by quality sow. All right, to replace our head. Now, I'll just chip in a little bit here. When I talk about feeding here, I take it for granted that we are feeding correct, balanced diets. Okay, I take it for granted that we are feeding correct, balanced diets, so that younger gilts are fed at the 2 point. They get with a key. So when they are inseminated, please can we mute ourselves, please? Now, we start with the breeder feed, then later we're going to the gestation feed. Okay, gestation feed for until the animals will be inseminated. Okay. Now, apart from this part of the introduction of our gilts into our herd, it's also important to know that our gilts should have very good exposures to the male, or I will say artificial insemination. Now, today, artificial insemination is very, very important. First of all, it's much more economical. Second of all, it's with the right person, with the right manpower, it can be very, very lucrative. Now, keeping a boar is something of the past, bit by bit. Why? Because when the boar deposits, we use a boar to mate, you can never determine the quality of the semen. All right. So this is where artificial insemination comes in and tries to perfect. Okay. Now, talking about artificial insemination, we must be able to determine and detect after the estrus of the sow, when she is in estrus, when we have to inseminate, the first insemination, the second insemination. So since we are taking the job from the boar, okay, the person doing the insemination must be very, very vigilant to be able to pinpoint and practically see the gilts or the sows that are in ovulation, that are in heat, sorry. Why? What is the aim? The aim of artificial insemination is to practically process the semen. We collect semen from the boar. We check the semen for survivability. If they are good, of good quality, we extend the semen and we preserve them for use in the next days when they will be needed to inseminate gilt. So what does that really mean? It means that we are taking the job of the boar, okay, and trying to perfect this job. So we now have to check and see that the sow or the gilt is in heat. All right. The aim, as I said earlier, is to make sure that some hours before ovulation, there is a deposit of semen in the uterus of the sow. That's all. So that when there is ovulation, the semen and the ovaries and the eggs can meet easy. And that is all. And that is the aim of artificial insemination. All right. Also, we can, one ejaculate that a boy will give can be divided depending on the density of the semen count, can be divided between until 20 or 25 sows. You can imagine. So this removes the need of keeping a boy in your farm and feeding a boy and injecting and, you know, treating a boy year round. I don't know. For me, it makes economic sense. Of course, we will discuss this later on. Now, so that, as I said earlier, it all starts with accurate detection. Why are we doing all this? We are doing all this to make sure that our sow, when it comes into heat, we are there. We see the heat. We calculate the ovulation. The ovulation is calculated, and then a few hours before ovulation, we already deposited some semen. So that by the time you have the ovulation, all right, the eggs will meet the semen. Why? So that to have as many born alive, total born as possible. That is the reason. Okay? That is why we're talking about increasing efficiency, right? So, gills usually perform at the first parity, they perform not so good because yes, they are young gills that are coming into production, but in the second parity, they usually improve. And until the third parity, as you saw in the previous, in the initial slide, they do very, very well. Okay, feeding. This is very, very important. I will not talk much on feeding, but I will talk on body conditioning. Okay, it is very important. You see all these 5 sows. Okay, score 3 is the ideal sow, which the sow in the middle. She's not so fat, she's not so thin. When you see the first one in score 1 is already, she's already almost gone to the aperture. I don't know if aperture will even take her. Score 2, for you to save this kind of sow, you must leave her and feed her for maybe around 10, 20 days. So that you condition her, you know, to be serviced again. But mind you, 20 days feeding costs money nowadays. Don't forget, you're already buying, you're buying corn with 60% much more expensive now. So you cannot afford to be doing this. So what I say is, you feed the sow when they are supposed to be fed. You don't have to be running helter-skelter. When they are supposed to be fed 2.4 kilos in the gestation, you feed them 2.4 kilos. When you see in the gestation period that your sow or your gilt is not gaining the weight that she's supposed to, increase it. Because that increase then will save you 20 days later. Because you will, at the end of the day, you will have to keep her in your farm for another 20 days without nothing, just feeding her, which costs money. It brings money, it takes money from your pocket. Okay, so all these things added together is what we want to talk about. Now, I will not talk of the heavy ones. Usually they have problems. You can deal with those by restricting their feed. You can restrict their feed, okay. But the usual problem are these thin ones, okay. And of course the fat pig, the fat sows, they usually have problem in fertilization, okay. They are not so fertile. So you might also have a problem there. All right. So I say finally that it's good to do things at the right time. Now, feeding, we said, recommendations. In the maternity in the maternity section, the aim is to make sure that we maintain a fat thickness, so that when the sow will leave the farrowing pen, after the piglets have suckled, they are finished, she doesn't remain like a bone. You understand? You feed her. My friend Chris will talk about this. Okay, you will talk about all this. I think at the end of the day, it will be an interactive one. We can now interact with each other. Okay, so that the aim is to keep the gilt or the sows at a quality level, so that we don't leave the maternity badly. Okay. So as I said, the objective, we should have water, because 90% of milk that is going to be suckled by the piglet, okay, is water. So the sow must have water. Make sure she gets water. Please get in touch with me for recommendations, feed recommendation, water recommendations. I will gladly send to anybody that would want. All right, so that we know all this. Very, very important. Okay, we established that good water, feed ration consumption gives us good milk production. It's evident. If a sow that doesn't drink water will not produce milk. So if you don't give the sow water to drink, good water will not produce you milk for the piglet. So at the end of the day, good body condition means she has eaten throughout the maternity period, and she has had availability of very good quality water during this period. All right. Now, this is a recommendation. I don't want to go through. I don't want to go into the details of that. We'll talk about all this, and whoever wants can let me know. They can just chat me later on. Okay. Now, very important. You can decide to wean in 21 days or 28 days. All right. Now, the feed used for piglets, when you have 12 piglets to be weaned, right? Daily feed quantity to be around 5.3. So we see that the proportion of feed depends on the number of piglets that the sow is suckling. So we cannot just put the same number of the same amount of feed to refer to different kind of animals that are having different number of piglets. Okay, this is just a recommendation for intakes, depending. It basically depends on the number of days she will be suckling and the number of piglets she is suckling. Now, as we established before, water is very, 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 very important. Water is very, very important. Okay, after farrowing, all right, your sow should be consuming from 22 liters of water per day. I don't know how many of us are doing that. From 20 liters of water per day, okay, until 40 liters of water per day at weaning. All right, this is very, very important. As I said earlier, it's very important that a water factor is solved. Quality water is needed for suckling sows. Okay, and these are recommendations of how to increase water consumption. Give them fresh water. A sow will know fresh water. If it's damp water, she will not drink it. So you are the one losing finally. If she's not drinking water, you are losing. If she's not eating, you are losing. Because she is not eating, she is losing weight. The piglets are also not eating. So it's two ways. So I hope I am making sense here. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to the weight of the piglet, because this is what we are producing. This is our product. Our product is to turn out our piglets at a very good weight. All right. Now, important, the condition of the sow at the entrance of the when they're entering the farrowing room. So it's very important, okay, for the vigor of the piglet, as I've said earlier, the quality of the piglet at birth. So when we are having 12 piglets of 800 grams compared to 12 piglets of 1 kilo 400 grams, it's very, very different. There are two different starting points, because the piglet that started 1 kilo 400 will be with the proper sow, with the proper genetics and the proper feed, should be giving you 7 kilos in 25 days. Please write it down. 25 days should be giving you around 7 kilos, 6.87 kilos on the average. All right. So also one other thing I want to point out here is that when you have piglets born at 800 grams, usually they have very high mortality. You have fed the sow for 116 days. All right. She ate 2.4 kilos, as we established earlier. And at the end of the day, she gave birth to 15 piglets, all of 800 grams. Of these 15, 8 of them will die. Then you remain with 8. What have you done? This is the discussion. And this is what we are talking about, return on investment, because you have invested 116 days in feed, good quality feed established, good quality premix established, toxin binder, okay. But then at the end of the day, when not fed well, it comes back to the same. So you see here that piglets that are born less than between, they have the tendency of dying. You see, the first 3 are less than 1 kilo. 1 kilo or 800 grams, 600 grams. They all go, they all die. So why should you be breeding something that you throw away? And even if they don't die, those pigs, if you see them, they don't grow. They don't grow. Compared to a piglet that was born a kilo 2, a kilo 3, a kilo 4. You will see them, you just be feeding them every day, you just be injecting this, that. Yeah, they don't grow. They live finally. They live last from the farm. I know we know that. Okay. Now, this is what I said earlier. When a piglet starts well at a very good weight, they live very fast, much more faster and without problems. This is what this slide is establishing. All right, less problems and faster growth. Please let's mute ourselves. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Now, conclusion. The aim is to limit interventions. When you limit interventions, when you always enter into the farm, when you enter between you go in between the sows, where especially when they are giving back or when they are far away, usually some sows, especially gilts, they feel threatened, and you know some of them they even get up, you raise up out of fear, you know. This is not, it's very, very good to be discreet. Don't go there. And because all these things, they all cause losses. All right. So, and at the end of the day, you know, the aim is to interventions to be minimal so that our sows are left to give birth and give birth to their piglets alone with minimal intervention. All right. Then after then, we also have to make sure the quality of the temperature in the nest has to be very, very constant. Now, why this? When your piglets born, especially those smaller ones of 800 grams, 700 grams, you will see them, they will go near the mother, where the sow, because the mother, the teeth of the mother is warm. They will go and sleep there. So when the mother wants to get up or turn to the other, we just scratch them. Those are the ones that usually die. So it's very, very important that's why we said the use of farrowing crates is very, very important. Okay, very, very important. That it can save you lots of problems, lots of losses. We are talking about losses here. You know, piglets that we are losing that could eventually have could have become pork meat at the end of the day. We just lose them because of insignificant or probably carelessness sometimes, not knowing sometimes. All right. Okay. So we have to control the temperature there. You see, these piglets, for example, they are not comfortable. That's why you see one on the other one. They are trying to keep themselves warm. Normally, the image should be different. Okay, when the heat is okay, they should be around. So you see, the temperature is 27 degrees, 0.5. Normally, these piglets will need something around between 30 and 32 degrees Celsius. Now you see the difference. You see on the left. You see the small ones. You see they will go there. They go near the sow because it's warm. You see, and on the right hand, you see the two piglets. They are comfortable. There is a lamp there. The temperature is good, so they are away from the sow. No problem. Here you will not find you find minimal mortality, which is the aim here, to have minimal mortality. Now, going to estrus. Now, we've established that our sow has gone through the process of insemination. We have been able to detect the heat. We have been able to inseminate at a particular time. We have been able to increase the number of born alives. All right. If we are having 8 before, we should be talking about 14, you're talking about 13, 15. Of course, I take it for granted that we have the genetics. Okay, we are not using fatness. Because when you're using fatness, then it's another case. I cannot guarantee that. Okay, so having done that, we established the fact that the piglets were born very good weight, 1 kilo 2, 1 kilo 3, 1 kilo 4, 400 grams. All right. The sow has been fed normally, good diet, okay, and she is being weaned. The piglets are weaned at an average weight of around 6.8, 7 kilos, 25 days, 26 days on the average. All right, they have left for the nursery. Okay, now the sow has to be conditioned again for the next journey. She has to be conditioned for the next insemination. Right? Now, feeding at weaning and flushing. This is very important, especially for those sows that are below standard, a little bit below standard. You flush them. You're flushing them, meaning you increase the number of feed for a few days before they are re-inseminated. Okay? Quality detection, as we said earlier, ranking according to body condition. When you see that a sow has very low grade in terms of body conditioning, don't inseminate. It means something was wrong they were not fed well in the farrowing section. They were not fed well in the farrow. They were being neglected. All right. So it means that sow has to remain, if she is of wood, if you think it's something worth doing something about, to remain remain behind and be fed for another minimum of 20 days until the next cycle. So you are feeding, if you are calculating, €2 per day, which was now is around 3.5 euros. The cost of feeding and keeping a sow per day. If you multiply it by 20, which is the minimum, one cycle, all right? And mind you, you have to increase the number of feed. You have to try to, to condition this sow. So which means you are not giving 2.4 kilos. You are giving around 3 or 5 kilos. So we are doubling the feed. And she's doing nothing for you at that time. So all this added together is they are causing economic problems. All right. The AI plan, as I established earlier, the plan for the AI, how we inseminate, when we inseminate, so that we have maximum number of piglets born alive, so that we can have a possibility of winning these piglets at a particular weight. All right. Now, here I want to talk about the sow dead days. Now, dead days are days, as I said, I've started earlier, days when a sow, for example, did not come into heat. All right? When a sow, for example, is not good enough to be inseminated. When a sow aborted, when all these kind of problematic sows that are on your farm, they are eating every day. So some decisions have to be made, and fast. When you see a sow that, look, this one is not worth the investment of feeding or keeping the sow for 20 days, it's better you sell that sow to the abattoir for meat and get your money than investing another 20 days of feed, of whatever, of medication, of, I don't know, whatever you know. And at the end of the day, the result is still the same. I hope I'm making sense. Now, this has to be reduced drastically on the farm. so that every feed, every kilogram of feed you give to your sow is accounted for and is giving you a potential number of piglets. You see a potential number of piglets coming back to you. This is very, very important. Okay, when you talk about, I already talked about 3 sows, sorry, gills, whatever. When you look at the level or the standard of a 500 sow farms, and you find like 50 sows just roaming around the farm, we don't know what they are doing, and add that money together. Okay, most of us, I hope we understand what I'm trying to buttress here. Now, here in this, I take slide. Yeah, and my next slide, we're talking about the procedure of flushing. Flushing means before the insemination, after weaning, like weaning day 1, we increase the number of feed intake, 4 kilos, 3 kilos, then we bring it back to the normal level after insemination. That's practically some people they include some sugars, all right? Some people they include sugars. Everything you do so that you make sure that at the end of the day, that period doesn't go to waste. Very important. Now, mating protocol depends on your farm. If you win on Wednesday, usually on Sunday evening, your sow should be coming to heat. All right. So you should be able to inseminate Sunday evening or Monday morning or afternoon, depending on the kind of program. Usually, you can decide to inseminate every 12 hours or every 24 hours. I like to inseminate every 24 hours. So this is a discussion we can do at a later date. Very, very important, stressing here that ranking of body conditioning. Body conditioning is very, very important to know, especially after weaning, to know which sow leaves for the abattoir or which sow will continue the journey. All right. So, but the idea, the problem is here is that if all has been done properly in the previous section, in the previous the farrowing, you wouldn't need this. Okay, you wouldn't need, this body score 1 will not be needed. All right. Worst case scenario is score 2, which is something that can be easily improved. All right. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's very, very important. The basics of increasing the total board is good quality semen, inseminated a few hours before ovulation, so that when the eggs are released, they find semen in the uterus. All right, you can decide to inseminate every 12 hours. All right. I inseminate, of course, for gills. Yes, it's good to inseminate in 12 because they have a shorter heat circle compared to the sows. All right, so maybe 6 hours is it can be advised. All right, and conclusion. As I said earlier, it's very good to take care of the sows of tomorrow. The sows of tomorrow have to be put in very, very good, have to be introduced very, very well into your farm. Artificial insemination and heat detection, all right, good quality semen. The heat detection procedure has to be very, very, very well done by qualified personnel. people that know this job. All right. The gestation period, the animals have to be fed very, very well so that you don't lose time. Time is money. Okay, like in any other business. Same is here. Also, lactation management. All right. All this together will bring and alleviate the efficiency of your farm. All right. Because we hear that people are winning 30 piglets per sow per year. With all this together, you can get there. Because this is what they are doing also. Okay. Now, don't forget it's a puzzle and all pieces are necessary. All right. We take it first step by step, no rush, but then we have to get things done. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will now hand over to my friend Chris Molindwa. Chris, I see there are lots of questions on the. I think we will treat it later after Chris must have finished. All right. After Chris must have finished, we will treat them. So I will. Chris, are you there? Chris. Let me.
Hello.
Ah, yeah. Okay, now.
Hope I'm clear.
Yeah.
I can share something maybe.
Hello?
Hey, Tommy, I can't share, unfortunately.
You want to, okay, you want to share. Just a moment, I have to, just a moment. I will give you, I'll make you a host, okay?
Co-host, yeah, maybe. Share something.
Just a moment, I will do that now. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Hello?
Hi, Tommy.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just realizing that I used my wife's account. Probably she's been using.
Yeah, but you have,
yeah,
I gave
same.
You are a host now, so you can share with us. Yeah.
Okay, so something small on feeding.
Yes.
I'm glad that you have tackled almost all the important aspects. But like we all know, pig feeding accounts for the largest percentage of the cost of production. And once it's not played with well, profitability always has to suffer. And once profitability suffers, the continuity of the business, the future of the business is left in jeopardy. So what is important in today's world is efficiency. Efficiency is a very important word because cost of feed as of today is very high, like Tommy enlightened. And for example, if you're using genetics that is incapable of making good use of the feeds that you buy expensively, then you risk losing your investment. Pig farming, yes, can be a passion, but even though a passion, it must be sustained by the profit you make from your animals. So efficiency is very key. That's why we must be keen about genetics, like Tommy said. If your reproductive herd is not performing to the bare minimum, then you risk, again, losing the investment. And if you're investing money in your commercial herd that is not performing to the expectations, still the same story. So for you to attract good efficiency, or for your farm to be efficient, you need to have quality genetics. And this quality genetics must be fed with quality feeds, like again Tommy enlightened. Then you have to consider good health and good management. Then you must be good also in marketing, because at the end of the day, these animals must go to the market. So briefly, my name is Christopher Mulindwa. I never introduced myself at the beginning. And I really thank you, Tommy, for giving me this opportunity to speak to my colleagues, my friends, my brothers and sisters in West Africa. I'm a Ugandan, and I work with Prime Pork Uganda Limited. We do quite a number of things. We are supporting the new science here in the distribution and promotion of pig concentrates. But we also do some representation for choice genetics here in Uganda. And we are now setting up what we call the microbreeding framework. In the microbreeding framework, we are purchasing grandparent maternal lines from choice genetics. Already a consignment came in March of this year. And we are expecting another consignment in September, early September of this year. So our target is to create a national herd of 500 GP sows. Then later, these can produce F1s and then use the boas, because we are importing these GPs alongside commercial boas. So we use these boas to inseminate the F1 sows. Like Tommy told you, the best mother on farm, the best parent sow on farm is a hybrid of the M3 and the M6. So we are focusing on importation of M3s and M6 so that we can be able to produce parent sows for commercial pig producers in Uganda. This is important because when you have feeds, however good the feed may be, but the genetics is poor, it's like, you know, I don't know. We have Shell. I know Shell is kind of, I don't know, but I guess it is a kind of a global company. And the Total. At least I'm sure about Total. I'm not very sure about Shell. But those two in Uganda sell the best fuel. I personally love to fuel with Shell, but there are people who love to fuel with Total. Then we have many other gas stations. No name. I don't know the names. No name. Try to mute all. But even though you fueled with Shell or petrol, but your your motor engine is weak, you can't do much. Even though the fuel is good, but the car engine is not good, or the car, the vehicle is not in a good mechanical condition, good fuel cannot help you in any way. So if you don't have quality genetics, quality feeds cannot help in any way. So Uganda, there has been a lot of effort in having good feeds on the market, but this has not yielded, like farmers have not enjoyed the profitability. So profitability can come when good genetics meets good feeds, management, etc. So that's what we are working on. It's not easy, yes, but it is possible. And we are ready for the challenge. Hope you will buy that commitment from us if you haven't bought it yet. So briefly about feeding and the way it goes here in Uganda and generally East Africa is we know of 3 categories of feeding strategies. Number 1 is improvised feeding, which is very common with the smallholders. Number 2 is complete feeds, which is also common with commercial and medium holder pig producers. With complete feeds, you go buy a complete feed from the market: the creep feed, the starter feed, the grower feed, the finisher feed, the sawmill, the bore mill, the gilt trailer, the different type of feeds. If you have companies that produce those in your country. And the last strategy is farm-made feeds. Farm-made feeds is something that we so much encourage, because people who make complete feeds, they do this for a profit. And many times and sometimes we call them commercial feeds, because you have to pay extra. Sometimes everything will be very good quality. The feed has followed all the standards necessary, but sometimes very expensive. For a commercial producer, improvised feeding is a no-go zone. We can't, you cannot depend on improvised feeding if you're doing commercial production, because pigs must get right rations, but also rations containing right levels of nutrients. So which is hard to ascertain with improvised feeding. It can be ascertained with complete feeds, which we also call commercial feeds, or farm-made feeds. So with complete feeds, you don't need a formula. You have a ready-to-feed feed. But with farm-made feeds, you need to engage a nutritionist to come up with a feed formula that fits the genetics you have and other different conditions, like we'll be seeing later. Generally, feed formulation depends.
Yes.
Your
slide is stagnant.
My slide is?
It is not moving. You are not going along with it. Not
really.
It remains on the first page.
Okay. Are you on the second page now?
Yeah. Now it's yeah. It's okay.
Okay. Feed formulation depends on the production objectives, the reproductive stage, and stage of growth. So the production objectives, of course, involve what you want to achieve. I'm seeing people who do free range here because some consumers who need the meat. They need meat that has been raised on grass and some, you know. So if you're producing for a specific market that requires you to feed in a given way, then that can force you to design a formula depending on that. And the reproductive stage, like reproductive animals are fed in different stages of production. For example, a gestating sow has different requirements from a lactating sow, and those two have different requirements from gilts that are not yet reproductively active. And the stage of growth is majorly on the commercial herd, where you have the piglets that will need a specific feed, the weaners that will need a specific feed, the growers, the finishers, all these need specific feeds. Now, the main categories of feed formulas includes the reproductive herd formulations and the commercial herd formulations. The reproductive herd is the production engine of the farm. These produce animals for you to take to the market. So they're the production engine. Then the commercial herd is your animals that you're intending to take to the market. So in Uganda, we do have the new science, and with the new science, we do recommend farm-made feeds, and I believe you must be having products that are similar or related to what we have in Uganda. So it's better always to use premixes, which we also call the low protein concentrates. With these, you need a variety of other feedstuffs. For example, you need the maize, the broken maize. This is corn, the broken corn. For energy, maize bran to provide more energy and fiber, limestone for some minerals, the soy cake. This is the oiled soy cake for proteins. The sunflower, same issue. And then the premix or the low protein concentrate, which is Vita. So in this case, this is specifically for the reproductive herd. So within that, you get three formulations. You have a formula for your gilts. Here in Uganda, we use the same formula for dry sows and boar. Then you have a formula for the gestating sow, you have a formula for lactating sow. It is common in Africa, in Uganda, and East Africa, for a farmer to use one formula, one type of feed for all these types, these production stages. It is not good because there are variations in nutrient requirements at these different stages. Then we have the commercial herd formulation. Here you have the creep feed. Of course, you know, even gilts, before they are transferred to the gilt rearing diet, they are fed to the commercial herd formulations. So you have the creep feed. This is given to the pig, to the piglets during lactation. And even when you're weaning, you again do not have to do what we call sudden change of feed. So there must be a period through which these feeds must, like the piglets, must change from the creep feed to the starter diet. So you have the creep feed, which must be an already made feed. If you don't trust your machines on farm, please buy ready-to-feed creep feed. Do not try making it on farm, because then you might not escape issues related to diarrhea and poor performance. Then you can make the starter feed easily, the grower feed, and the finisher feed. The creep feed is a little technical because many times you need to add some lactose in it, the milk carbohydrate. So it sometimes becomes complicated because these are piglets, their digestive system, the enzymes there are good at digesting milk and not these other types of carbohydrates and proteins. So these are the 4 types of feeds that you need in your commercial herd. Another challenge, okay, we talk about a few challenges. Don't worry about the cost. This is a Uganda shilling, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to look there. But I wanted us to really concentrate on this issue called wastage. Sometimes people access quality genetics, but they fail to acquire proper equipment for their farms. And basic equipment like feed traps. So there is a lot of feed wastage. And even if it were 18 kilograms, like I put it here, this is already too much. Imagine if you have 100 sows and you're losing 18 kilograms to feed a sow from insemination to weaning. And for each sow, you're wasting 18 kilograms. And this is the bare minimum. This is based on serious commercial producers in Uganda. But people waste a lot of feed. And feed being very expensive, whatever you waste, of course, encroach on your profit. And so your profit will reduce. So we need to consider having proper equipment, basic equipment, to ensure that the feed that we intend to feed our animals are actually consumed by those animals.
And clean and healthy.
Hello? Yes, Tommy?
Yeah, I said, and yeah, you did well.
Okay, so last but not least is the same challenge. You can see this is also according to Ugandan standard, and this is based on quality genetics. You see, someone using about 300 kilograms to produce a pig, to finish a pig for slaughter.
It's much.
But many farmers go beyond this. They don't go beyond this because the pig actually consumed the feed, but because the feed has been wasted, either from the store or in the feed troughs, etc. Some people add water to the feed and give a lot of feed. So by the time, when the pig leaves some feed, by the next day it has fermented and the pig doesn't want to eat it anymore. So you see farmers happily collecting the feed from the trough and taking it to dispose it of. But this is money, because you use the money to buy these feeds and you're actually throwing your money away. So it was a brief one. I thank you very much for listening to me. Over to you, Tommy.
Yeah. As I was, thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For coming along and, being present in this discussion. I think we should throw the throw it to the participants also for questions. Before we go there, Chris, I really want to hear from you, because most of the participants are West Africans, okay? And
Okay.
we really want you to share the Ugandan experience in terms of the animals that arrived, the difference between what you had before and what you already see, what you have seen with what you did with semen, and what you now see with the animals that arrived. And yeah, I would like that to hear from the horse's mouth.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tommy. We embarked on this some few years back. With Choice Genetics, we started with importation of semen. And it's very unfortunate that I didn't prepare different pictures to show you the situation before and the situation now. But we've already had litters shared by Choice Genetics commercial boas, like the P81. Mostly, commonly we've been importing the P81 and the grandparent animals, because lines, because some farmers wanted to produce pigs for use for further reproduction. And these are people who did not have enough financial muscle to import in live animals. So there is a huge difference in the meat. This time you have more meaty carcasses. We operate a small slaughter place ourselves, and we do butchering as well. And maybe next time when we organize a gathering like this, I can bring for you some pictures, some videos. I'd show you the kind of meat that comes from proper genetics, most especially from the P81 that we have been using here. The meat is perfect. We have more meat than fat, more meat than bone. And the growth, it was common here for people to keep pigs for a very long period of time. And then the pigs yield a few kilograms. And with this semen importation, still we are slaughtering pigs that are heavy, meaning that, and younger. So meaning that pigs are growing more faster than they were growing before. That's also another huge difference. And this impacts the profitability of the business. So as of now, we are carefully looking after the GP animals. And I can tell you they are very different animals. You cannot compare them to any breed line in the country today. And we are handling them like gold. From our last importation, we have lost only one pig, and it was a boar, and the reason it died was due to adultery feeds.
Okay.
It was fed with feeds that had sand in it. So on post-mortem, the digestive system, I think movement was blocked by the solid material, the hard solid material, the sand. And since then, we've been very careful, and we have not lost any other pig. But we are starting a new system, we are opening a new page of pig farming in the country, and not only Uganda, but the general East Africa. We believe that this is the only way more money can be made by pig farmers. You know, it is very easy to invest your money and lose it if you're not dealing with quality genetics, proper nutrition, and proper management. So far so good, and we have a bigger plan, and we are so futuristic that we are giving this a period of 3 years to see where we will be. But we are not rushing, and we are trying to really try to get the best from whatever we are doing now with choice genetics breed lines. Over to you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. Because you know, I asked you this I asked about your views about this so that people will know firsthand from you. Because in Nigeria, for example, there are lots of I would say there's a lot of adulteration. Okay, and people are, you know, very reluctant sometimes, and you know, and of course, we will discuss. We will talk more about this. I just wanted to see, you know, to hear from you. You understand? To hear from you. Now, I think I have to throw the floor open for questions, please. Are there questions? Please, we will go into questions now. Chris, I think you are still online, right?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. I'm here for some
in case
minutes.
There are some questions that will be directed to you. First of all, I see I think let's deal with those ones that want to ask their question. All right, please, whoever wants to ask question, please just raise up your hand and you can unmute yourself and go ahead orderly.
Good evening. My name is
Mr. Sunday Osho. Yeah.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Sunday Osho.
Yeah.
And thank you for this good presentation. It's an eye-opener topic producer in Nigeria. I think more of it will come from choice genetics. Now, my question is, number one, do we have a choice genetics in Nigeria? Then number two, most of this presentation you put us through concerning the genetic breed, and most of these farmers we have around here, they were talking about pure line. Until today, we discovered that the parents' talk is what matter most. Now, Do you have a training for this for farmer in Nigeria to acquire more knowledge?
Wait, I think. Please. Mr. Sunday, is that all?
Yes, that's all.
Okay. Now, Mr. Sunday, Mr. Olaiton Oyekunle, can you please mute yourself, please? Okay. Choice genetics in Nigeria. Fortunately, as of now, we have not been able to import animals for now. Okay. Chris, can you mute everybody? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. For now, we have not been able to export animals into the country. Why? Because we do not want to just sell animals. We want to build. I've spoken with many people with various times. I've visited Nigeria and have many discussions. We want to build something in Nigeria like producing locally, but this local production entails that there has to be a local investor that will collaborate with Choice Genetics. So no, we do not have Choice Genetics as of now, presently in Nigeria. Okay, and yes, we are working on awareness program, awareness training, working hand in hand with. I was in Nigeria this year with Big Dutchman, where we had a very good seminar, 2-3 days multi-location seminar around the country, and yeah, we continue to do that until people are aware. Yes, as I have said, the parent stock is better than the pure line. Pure lines are for multiplication units, as you heard from Chris a few moments ago. Pure lines are for multiplication unit to produce parent stock. Parent stock is what you need to produce meat. Okay, and as you have said, as you have also heard, in Uganda they use the P81, which is a Pietrain boar. All right, it produces more meat than whatever all those names that I hear. Anyway, yeah, I think I've answered your question, Mr. Sunday.
Yes, the last one. Can we have the semen if we can't get the live animal for insemination?
Yes, semen is available, it's possible. But look, for like it was in Uganda, we can organize semen. I tried to organize some with the company, with some people in Abuja some months ago. But you know what, with semen, some people come, they want 5 today, tomorrow they don't want 6, they want 10, and you know, so it was sort of defeated somehow. Yeah, if you need semen and you can gather, you and your friends, you can gather 60 doses. We use the minimum. We gladly bring you semen from France.
So please, can we get the price for that, and then maybe the appropriate places to send our inquiry to?
Okay, send me. You have my contact. It was or send me your contact on send your contact to chat. We will. I will get in touch with you. All right, and just mention semen. Okay. Now
all right.
Let's. I think Mr. Lawrence and Anekwe was. Please go ahead with your question. Then followed by Mr. With Jenister. Mr. Lawrence Anekwe. Mr. Lawrence Anekwe. If Mr. Lawrence is not ready, I think Genesis to proceed. Genesis, Mr. Tosin Julius, please unmute yourself and ask your
Okay.
question.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, here in Nigeria, with your explanation concerning the parent stock, the CG36. No, here in Nigeria, we see a lot of farmers tagging their animals as pure breeds and all. From the explanation and from everything we've learned tonight, I can see, okay, when you cross the M6 and the M3, that's how you get your parent stock. And the parent stock is crossed with a terminal board to produce the fattening stock.
Okay.
From what I've deduced from that, that means there are only a few selected people that can go into breeding. Because if you own a parent, when you get the parent stock, you are only able to produce fatteners, right?
Correct.
So that means a lot of farmers here in Nigeria are breeders. They do breeding because they just sell animals to people.
They are selling fatness. That's what they sell.
But even the fatteners don't have traces because we don't know whether they imported it or anything like that.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate reality. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, it's an unfortunate reality, and people are losing money because of this. Of course, I have heard that some people have done some imports. Okay, let's clear that. Okay? But I don't know if they sell or not. That's another thing. But you see on Facebook different kind of situations, different kind of names, adulteration and things like that. So I don't want to go in, I don't want to go there. But I think you got the picture correctly, Mr.
Okay.
So for you to make money in this business, you have to go the correct way. That's the only thing I will advise you. All right?
Yeah.
You're already on point.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jenister, please, or Mr.
Lawrence.
Okay, Lawrence. Okay, I called you earlier. You were not. All right, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Timmy and Chris. I think this an eye opener, like my friends from Nigeria have said. For the genetics, like others have said too, if you go into it in Nigeria, you will miss it because it's lies upon lies and lies. So my concentration is on feeding, assuming we want to concentrate on what we have. Still knowing that genetics comes first, but what we have, we hold. Like Chris talked about the kind of feed they use in Uganda. But in Nigeria, the story is still the same with issue of genetics. Most feeds, when you buy them for what they are, by the time you finish using them, you're already at a loss. So I appreciate if Chris can maybe, if not now, make out more time to give us a kind of in-depth analysis of how we can at least manage our farm by producing our own feed. I actually know that it's better to buy customized feeds. But the problem we'll have in Nigeria, like most of us will tell you, that what you buy is not what you get.
Yeah, look, here, sorry for cutting you short, huh? So that I don't, I was in Nigeria 2 months ago, all right? I had some discussions with, I don't know if New Science is in Nigeria, but I had some discussions with some credible, some companies, all right? I was with Reef in Abuja, Nova Agro at Ibadan, Top Feed and Ibadan. I spoke with the nutritionist. All right, these people have feed. They have feed. They have premixes. So
the standards changes with time. What
I will advise you is this.
Yes.
Like in any other place, it's a business. I understand that. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
You commit to a company. I will take, for example, Tommy Feed Company. Okay. You commit to my feed company. I come to your farm, I look at your animals. I tell you that, look, these animals are good. And if you use my feed, these animals will be giving you 100 kilos in 6 months. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when the first 6 months comes by and they are not 100 kilos, then you change. Go to Chris Feed. It's as simple as that.
That means you've lost for the 6 months. I understand what you're saying.
You understand? You have to, because you know what? You lost for 6 months, but they also lost credibility like a company. You understand? Because everybody knows that Lawrence fed with Tommy Feed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Instead of, you know what? I see farmers with 5 sows, with 3 sows. They start buying PKC here and there. The number of time, it's so cumbersome. The number of time they waste traveling, looking for transport of PKC, and the transport and everything, and the headache and the pain and everything. It's better you just go to one and buy it there and finish. And it will be even less. And you will even have mouth. You understand? Not going around, running around the whole country, looking for PKC that you don't even know whether it's full of mycotoxin or not. You just bring it there because it's cheaper. And you just mix it up. And at the end of the day, your animals start scoring and you don't know from where, which of the feed. You understand where I'm going?
Really, yes. And it's quite understood. Another issue.
I know that Top Feed, for example, mainly they deal with poultry. You understand?
Yes.
With poultry, you don't do nonsense.
Yeah, with poultry, you don't do nonsense. But for pig.
So when they are basically poultry, you will get, Nova Agro is there. They have premixes. Reef is there. They have Terratica is there. So there are lots of companies there. Just approach them. Tell them what you want. Give them a base of discussion. Tell them you want that and that. If they can do it for you, then go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, I would like to chip in at this moment. For example, Terratiga, with the amount and the feed combination they advise, you can't really make profit because when you
because
sell,
you don't have genetics.
Yes, that's the point.
Yes, because you don't have genetics.
And the market too is not standardized. Is what you bargain is what you get.
Yeah, that's another discussion entirely, because when you talk about market, you talk about. I really don't believe. I believe in each farmer selling his own product. I don't believe in giving merchants. Selling your own product, sell your own community. How many farmers do their community does their community know their farms? Not to talk of cutting meat. If you are cutting one pig in a week and sharing it out in your community, it's cash for you. Rather than bringing in people that will come, they will bargain it until you know what is happening now. So yeah, I heard the other day they were buying for 800 naira. 750 naira. Yeah, because
to some extent, you can't do without those people. Though. In Nigeria, anyway.
It depends on organization. All right, we will not go there today. We'll do this another time. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll do this another time. Okay. Let's go to Mr. Afilaka. That's Mrs., right?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Latine. It's nice being on your tutelage again. The issue of the semen has been raised by other people. I think if we can have a WhatsApp group, there are people who are interested. I keep emphasizing it. Mr. Chris said they started with semen importation.
Yes.
If we cannot get the live weight in right now, we can start with the semen importation as well. By that, people will see the benefits, and then we can raise funds to bring in the live animals. So I want to plead with you if we can get a WhatsApp group where those who are interested in the semen can indicate their interest, and then we collaborate and bring in the semen.
Okay,
with what we have on them.
Mrs. Taye, please, can you initiate that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so anybody interested in semen, please contact Mrs. Taye Afilaka directly. Please.
Thank you. I'll leave my phone number.
Okay.
I'll leave my.
All right, please.
WhatsApp number on the group, on the chat.
Number. Yeah.
For those who are interested. And then,
Sorry,
Thank
please,
you.
I have a question.
Yeah. Mr. Julius, let's listen to Genestar. Genestar. Sorry, because you already asked 2 times. Let's listen to Genestar. The hand's been up there for a long time. I don't think, probably, I don't know if that person is still there. Mr. Kayode Salami. Salami.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Kayode, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Attorney. It's my pleasure to be in this conference. Actually, I've been following, and then the class was more interactive and very educative. Concerning the issue raised by other farmers here in Nigeria as regards the genetic issue. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. So I posted a question in that chat to Mr. Chris concerning that the appearance stock. Because here in Nigeria, one thing I've noticed is that most Nigerian farmers believe so much in name. Pure Kamboro, pure Durok, pure this, pure that, pure landrace. For me, I'm not a fan of that. I believe in what your animal can deliver. And it depends on the market in which you are targeting. Every market has their own niche. Some people after, the fancy things, I have pure line, I have pure this. It is the market I want to that I'm more interested in. That's not where I'm going. But I wanted to ask Mr. Chris in that question that the appearance stock that is talking about, what is the weight gain expected of the animal in 6 months from DOB?
Now,
I want to know.
I don't know if Chris is still online, but
I want to know.
Because Chris spoke of the P81. P81 is a Pietrine line boar. Okay. I can assure you that the animal is given an average daily gain of
550 grams. That's what I saw on this slide.
No. 550 was is a standard for gilts. Okay, we did not. There is no slide today about boars. Okay, now the P81 can give as much as 700, 650, 700 grams a day.
No, you see what I'm more particular. Why I raise this question is this.
So you do your calculations.
You know why I raise the question is this. For me, I'm not a fan of breed. I believe the problem most Nigerian farmers, I'm not against genetic. Genetic will improve what you have. But with the kind of animal I work with, and then I've tried to do my, I think the problem we are lacking most Nigerian farmers is that consistency in feed. Today, you see them using this. In a month's time, they didn't see what they are using before. They change to another thing. In 2 months' time, that thing is not available. They change to another thing. There's no consistency in what they are using. But I wanted to know, because from what I've been working with, the animals I've been working with in the last a year, I don't want to mention genetic name. I'm not bothered about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure of getting to market, getting 100 average of 95 kg in 6-7 months, 100 kg average. Sometimes I see 110 from DOB. So I wanted to compare the parent stock is talking about from DOB to 6 months or 7 months. What is the weight gain of the animal?
You are getting with.
So I just want to compare
with the
to see how far you are doing, which area you can improve on.
With the P81, I told you, calculate 700 grams per day on the average. That's what it takes on the average, and it's much more meatier than Duroc. That's much more meat than Duroc. Okay. So if you make your calculations, you will see. So next, Mr. Okay. Daviland Farms.
Thank you. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello, Mr.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Actually, you're doing a good work, sir. We are very happy. But sometimes we need to work with Nigerian market, because what Mr. Salami just said now is the reality for most of us. You know, we talk about, even when we're talking about feed, we mention things like sunflower and this and that. Some of them we don't even have them in Nigeria. So if you talk about, you know, we need to think about the majority. What is affecting the most of us? We don't have the right genetics. Someone was talking about importing semen to come and inseminate what? The ones we have on ground. That's the problem we're having. What I want to know is, we need to work with, he said something about, Mr. Salami again, he said something about, he wants to compare whatever genetics we are trying to bring in with what he has at the moment. Sincerely, I don't know, but I think what he has is good. If
Okay.
it's not the best, but it's good.
Okay.
In comparison with what the rest of us has.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying. So I think.
No, I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't, please explain. I don't understand. You mean what is coming in compared to what you have on ground? Like what
he was asking, what can we do to improve what we have on ground?
All right.
Someone mentioned cement.
Okay.
But the semen is still going to inseminate the so-called not so good genetics that we have on ground.
Okay.
So I'm just asking, what can you do to help us so that we won't have these genetic problems again?
Now, what happened, what Chris told you happened in Uganda, okay? Because at the point in time, they had bad genetics, all right? What they did was they brought semen. And if you were in the discussion, he said that, look, maybe next time he was able to, they make pictures.
Okay, sir.
All right. To compare what they used to have and what they had with semen.
Okay.
You understand? So there was definitely an improvement.
Okay. How can we improve ours? That's what
now, if you let me finish. Now, when you bring in semen,
yes, sir,
there is on whatever sow, okay, there is a 50% improvement calculated. Okay? It will be better than what you had. Okay, all right. Now, if you want the best, and you have the money to invest, then you bring in the animal and then you have it. And that was what happened. And that was the next step that Uganda did. And they are doing it again in September because
Okay.
they saw there was a very, very big, huge difference between what they had, what they did with semen, and what they can have with the animals that came.
Okay, yeah, I get it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, that means we need, you said Uganda, is it like the government that brought them or?
No, yeah, private individuals like you and me, like everybody here. Yeah, they are private, they organized themselves and they did it.
Okay.
With the, of course, with the help of Chris, which was primary.
Your contact, where can we get it, please?
My contact was on the. I will put my contact on the my WhatsApp number. It will be in the chat.
Okay, so I'll contact you personally. I can maybe work with some people to do something because I know this thing, the way it is right now, we need to work together to get something done. I mean, around us here, not like you helping us. We need to help ourselves first before we can contact you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk with some people in case we are able to come up with guys that can work together. Okay. So I would like a way to contact you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I'll be glad. All right. Take care. Now, Mr. Oluwole Olufunke, Mrs.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
Nice
to hear your voice.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for all your hard working on improving our Nigerian breeds. I can see from what other people are saying about semen. I told you about my institute, the IRT. That place is actually set up to help the farmers. It's one of the reasons why we set up our AI center at Ikene for biosecurity purpose. But because of the situation and the condition of this Nigeria now, it's affecting us. But we are trying to still manage ourselves. Now, I want you to look at it, how you can help this nation. IRT is ready, but the availability, we have all the facilities. But I am so tired of the people, the kind of breeds that people are just, this is the pure one. That's one of the reasons why we just kept quiet, because I saw many adulterated breeds all around. This one will tell you this one will tell you that. How many genetics?
And people are being discouraged with all this.
Yes, how many geneticists are the breeder? Now, if you tell me this is an animal, I know which animal, and I know where, and people are just after the market. We have all the availability to be able to do it. I'm just asking you how we can collaborate and be able to supply, to give the best for this, our farmers. And to be able to make everything available. If we can start from that semen, we have all the facilities there. We have all the machines to do these things. We have the pen. We have all the chemicals to use. Even we have started using our own. We are not even using the extender. We used many of the breeds that we have in Nigeria, and especially this Southwest. It's from the hierarchy.
Yeah.
So how we can collaborate together with the choice and be able to give the farmers the best. Please, I still want you to look, because I've not, like the one I wrote, I told you that I'm working on it. I sent it to my HOD. Unfortunately, I'm not, I'm thinking about, maybe I was thinking of, but I don't want to go beyond.
Ms. Olufunke, we will talk, yes. Okay?
So please, let's look at the way of helping them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Julius, do you still want to, Mr. Tosin, Julius, your hand is still up.
Yes, sir. Concerning, like, I'm trying to return to, I'm going to do this in form of questions, please. The thing is, with what people have chipped in with getting the right breeds won't. It has to be a selected few that get the breeds because everybody can't be a breeder. If I'm correct.
Definitely.
So when people are
Look,
asking how they
let's use the word multiplication unit better.
Okay. So I think like what Mrs. Olufuke has said, if there can be some people with resources who are able to import, like I said in one of my groups that, okay, if there is like a multiplication center in a state where other farmers, because according to what Chris and yourself have explained, when you sell the parent stock to other farmers, they are only able to produce fatteners, for slaughters, right?
And that's the way it should be.
So what people are doing, because looking at the questions people are asking, is like even when they get the parent stock, they are going to sell them as breeders when they eventually breed them.
Wrong.
So the thing is, which is wrong, yes. So what I'm asking is there should only be, let's say in a state, there should be a multiplication centers where other farmers who are only interested in producing slaughter animals go to get the animals. Not that everybody would be a breeder who buys the animal and still breed them again. So
it takes organization. It takes organization, and that's what Miss Olufunke was trying to say. And yeah, I recognize that the ARRT has been a forerunner in this until they were hit with African swine fever some years back. Yeah, we are doing. I'm discussing with them. I'm discussing with her. We call her, but yeah, we discuss. There has to be a level of organization. Yes.
Yes, my question is like Mr. Daviland, I was saying he was going to organize people. My question is, what are they going to do with the animals when they eventually get them? Because you can't sell the animals as breeders if you are getting parent stock. That means unless you are getting grandparent stock to produce the parent stock and all. So they can't actually sell the animals to other farmers. That means they have to sell slaughter animals so that will be clear. I don't know if you get that point.
No, I don't. Please come again.
I said Mr. Daviland, he said he was going to organize people to like maybe get those animals, like he could talk to other people.
You said he said about it. He spoke about semen.
Yeah, he also spoke about talking to other people about getting the animals because he was complaining of using the semen on the breeds we already have, and you told him about the 50% stuff like that.
So when they upgrading, yes.
Yeah, so when they eventually get the animals, are they going to be selling to other animals, or how is the process going to be able to upgrade our breeds there?
It depends. Look, mathematically, what the semen issue is about is just to close some mouths. Practically, because people are very people don't really believe until they see. You understand? Now, when I come, I tell you that you have in 6 months 700 grams and 600, 700 grams. If you don't see it on your animals, people are not so, which happens everywhere. So what can be done is you bring in semen. At least you infiltrate or you upgrade what you have. When you see a level of improvement with just ordinary semen, then you can, it then follows that when you bring in the animals per se, you will have 100% upgrade in whatever you are doing. Because you understand what I'm saying? Now, I think semen is the first step. Okay, and usually I will also propose this semen as long as they are 60. If they are 60, then it's ready to go, and of course they are paid. Okay, they are ready to go. So it will definitely bring an upgrade to whatever you have. it will bring an upgrade. All right, and that's how it works. So then if you now decide that you want the whole package, then you can now order for the animals. And as in the case, as it was in the case of Uganda, they went on to now buy animals after, I think, a year of importing. Okay, and the animals were very, very, very good. I think maybe in the next Zoom meeting, I should be able to get some videos also. Although they were from Greece. All right. So, Mr. Tosin, I think Mr. Sunday Osho, do you still want to ask a question?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I have one question, and that question goes to Mrs. Olufunke Oluwole. She was talking about ART. I think it is high time for them, if you can hear me now, that people need them most. Because most of the smallhold farmer, at least most of them have 20 sow at their backyard. And they need this service, but they don't see that there's no sanitization. People don't know about them. They don't hear about them. They only think about the big commercial piggery farming. But some go there, which has backyard, they need really them. They don't get in touch with them. I think I'm using this opportunity to speak out because I'm around that Ikene axis. So they don't really give us attention. So I think if Mrs. Oluwole can, I mean, Olufunke Oluwole can hear me. So I just want to. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I answer, sir?
Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. Actually, I don't know about that Ikene side. We were actually bubbling. Let's say from about 5 years ago or 3 years ago, we were actually bubbling in Ikene.
I think there's a connection issue with Ms. Olufunke. Hello. Yeah.
Maybe she have lost connection.
Yeah. Okay. Please. I think it's a network issue. She will be back online, I guess. Just to make sure that we all understand, Mrs. Taye Afilaka just left her contact here on the chat. So I think we will do something like that. We can organize a WhatsApp group alongside with us. So those who are really really interested in bringing semen can really do it, right? And organized. So we'll try to get organized. Okay. I think so. Any other questions, please? Until Miss Olufunke comes back. If she can come back online, I don't know. Yeah, it's good. It's true that the ARMT was a pillar to reckon with in the West until they were hit with the African swine fever. Yeah, well, I've been discussing with them. We're discussing. We'll see how we see what comes out of the discussions. Yeah. Meanwhile, I think semen is a very good option to see immediate change, and then to decide for to further promote the idea of really bringing in semen. Live animals. It's the best. It's cheaper to bring in. It might sound more expensive, but it's cheaper because the return on investment is higher and better. You get the money back faster. Semen is just an experiment. Be clear. Somebody is asking about the African swine fever. African swine fever is a serious matter. African swine fever is present in Europe. It's all over the world right now, except for in the Americas. Don't be deceived. There are no vaccines yet that have been how will I say it, accredited for use. There are discussions, yes, Vietnam, US, whatever, okay, but it's not in the market yet. So please don't go after something that you haven't seen. You know, we've been discussing this, all these options have been in discussion for the past 3 years, 4 years, for vaccines, Chinese vaccines, and all these kind of things. Okay, please continue with biosecurity. It's the only way out for now. Biosecurity is the only way out. Okay, please. Now, I think Miss Olufunke is back. I think she's back. She might want to, before we call it a day, maybe she might want to say a few words. No. Okay, she's not back. So please, any other question? Okay, Mr. A, are you Mr. Afilaka?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you? I saw you. Would you want to have? Do you have something to add on?
No, nothing. It was just the issue of the ASF. And when you said very serious, that the only thing we can do is biosecurity.
Yeah.
And then it's important we sensitize our workers, our farmers, let them know how serious the issue is. I mean, I've had to share pictures and some group discussions with members of my staff to let them know why they shouldn't go. They can't just afford to visit anywhere and come back to the farm. And then put things in place that you don't allow just anybody to enter your farm.
Yeah.
It's important that you do not allow just anybody to enter your farm. Once your workers know that, my workers know that nobody comes into the farm now. Visitors are stayed outside the gate. So even if they have to come in, there are very serious precautions like foot bath and all that. But then they don't go near the pens.
Okay.
So it's important we learn that, because I know somebody who was ravished in Ondo town, and I knew quite how bad it was because of the investment involved. So that's really, I mean, that's the closest I've seen with somebody with ASF.
Oh yeah, it has been proven. It has been proven that the spread of African swine fever is 100% human factor.
Yes,
it's 100% human factor. So it's it goes to the extent of eating infected meat, defecating in the farm, and the cycle continues. Because humans are carriers. The virus goes on. Having dogs around.
Yeah.
Rodents. Rats. You know? So it's a whole thing. So even I would not, what I advise people is don't eat pig meat from other farms. Eat only from your farm.
Difficult.
There you reduce the possibility. So if it's pig meat from your farm, at least you know, okay, you don't have Africa, so you definitely. But if you eat pig meat from outside or from wherever, and you somehow get into your farm, or it was an infected, because we all know it. People, even there are these scares of African swine fever, people start to sell. They sell 600 naira per kilo. 704. I even had a 450 naira. And they start slaughtering these animals. Some people start slaughtering. Yes, is it? I heard of it. So it's still there. So we should restrict. African swine it's real. It kills, and it sucks investment. So it's better we restrict I would say you restrict the consumption of pig meat to your own herd. Eat your own pigs only. All right? Especially the workers. To eat their own, the pigs from the farm only. Then it's safer. Then of course, with all the other ones that have been mentioned before, ahead of time with the biosecurity, informing, instructing workers not to, transferring diseases from farm to farm, and not allowing people without business in your farm. Even vets, yes, even vets to respect biosecurity. Abstain 3 days, 4 days, 72 hours before entering another farm. So it's because when it enters, it clears everything. You have yourself to blame, so you better take precautions. Yeah, that's it. That's the reality.
Can I just chip in something? Even vet doctors, some of them don't even know. They don't even know the symptoms. They don't even know when ASF sets in. Like the particular farm that I mentioned, the manager called me and told me, "Oh, they're pigs. These are pigs about 350 kg. That they were. The first one died. The second one died." I said, "Are you sure it's not ASF? With what you are telling me?" I mean, he said, "No, it's old age." I said, "What's old age? 350 kg. There's nothing old age about it." Yes. And I now told him to take some cautions, and he said, "No, the vet doctor has come in. The vet doctor said it was food poisoning." I said, "Maybe it's the feed." I said, "No, what you are telling me, the symptoms, I've never, it's just based on what I've read and what people have said about ASF, that they should take precautions so it doesn't spread to the other parts of the farm." Anyway, unfortunately, the vet doctor took the test, and by the time the vet doctor came back, the whole farm had been wiped off. So they had about 3 vet doctors who came in there. And I've had an experience on my farm where I was losing piglets, and I invited vet doctor. There wasn't any solution until somebody who had similar thing told me, "Go and use amoxicillin and paracetamol." And that was what I used to curb that thing that was happening. So sometimes even the vet doctors, unfortunately, the vet doctors in Nigeria, I think they are more conversant with poultry, with dogs.
Yeah, cats and dogs, yes.
Yeah, we don't have.
But there are still some out there. There are still some. The experience differ. Experience, like many other medical fields, experience differs, and there are still some good doctors around. Only, it's you have to find the good ones for pigs, of course. It doesn't mean the fact that somebody is.
I'm still searching.
You said?
I said I'm still searching. I'm still looking for one.
Yeah, there are. That's
maybe I'll chat you and then you can give me a contact.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah. All right, thank you. I see Moses there. Moses. Moses. Oh, Daviland is back again. All right, Mr. Daviland. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Please don't mind whatever is it that is underneath. This my child, so I don't want her to make noise. The thing is, actually, you know, when we are in business, the first thing we consider before being a farmer is we are business people. So we're trying to sell markets. The first thing that comes to mind is who are the markets? And most of the things that comes online and whatever is not always about Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that considers, let me just put it in this way, religion and tribalism and whatever first before anything. It's the origin first before you think about nothing else. So you talked earlier on about us getting, because the best way to maximize is by selling to the people around you. Most of us, for example, myself, I'm in the lorry, which is
okay. You are talking about the
market.
The supply chain. Okay.
Okay. So if you consider market, and I'm thinking of, okay, I want to sell, I have to sell to the people around me because somebody I wouldn't know, maybe it's Mr. Afilaka or I wouldn't know. Somebody talked about if you want to sell, you have to sell to, it was talking about the market earlier on, but let me just focus on what I'm saying. So if you are going to sell, you consider your environment first, and people around us here, especially in Lorry that I am, they are not going to buy because they don't eat it. So we still have to do, there is no way. Yeah, the person was talking about not doing without those middle people, the middlemen, the buyers and the agents. There's no way we can do without them. So I think why people are not investing in breeds, good, what do you call it again? Siemens and whatever, is just because, you know, even if you buy it, you still have to sell to these people, especially for people like me who are in a region where they don't consume it. It has to go to Warri, Delta, or the East, or whatever, where they eat it. So in our own case, I wouldn't know what we can do to help us.
No.
But we have to consider the market first before we consider the breed or feed or whatever it is we're talking about. I hope you understand me, sir.
Yeah, I understand you. Now, look, your price, your present price, even with Warri, with Warri merchants, is around 900 naira. Is it correct?
It's not even up to that. Maybe 800.
800. Okay.
Terrible.
800. Okay, 800 naira. All right. What I am trying to say is to try to develop a value chain where I'm not saying that if you have 10 sows, you will be selling all the products of your 10 sows to your community. You understand? Okay. Don't tell me that in Ilorin, there is zero consumption of pork meat. Don't tell me. I don't believe it. Some people eat it. I'm sure maybe not the majority. Yes. Some people eat it.
Yeah, true.
Right? So from the 10 sows, what I'm saying is, why don't you initiate and try to develop a market in your community, trying to sell one pig, make it a kind of a kind of commitment, trying to sell one pig per week in your community. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I do get.
And the rest, give it to Warri people. So when people start to know, you know, there are all these bookers, there are all these, whatever you call them, all these restaurants along the street. Okay? So talk to them. There is no way you cannot sell one pig. How much is it? 70 kilos of meat in a week in a whole Ilorin. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Of course, it's well known among farmers that most farmers don't want to go into commercialization. I know it's all over the world. Not Nigeria is not the only country.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind as long as I'm making money. I'm telling you because I have the experience even in Europe. If you tell farmer, majority of them go and sell your products and after feeding the animal, and I was not, well, leave me alone, Jerry. I'll just go and sleep in the house. That's what they want. So what changes, and most of, especially in Balkan countries, don't bring in Balkans now. Usually they bring in, they have a daughter or a son. They open a butchery for him and he sells. He will start selling by half pig. He will start selling by half pig. Bit by bit, in 1 or 2 months, he will start selling a whole pig. Because he will be selling only meat, especially in a place like Nigeria, that you're telling me, okay, yeah, there is minimal consumption. Understood? Okay? If he's selling pig, people will know that it's only pig he's selling. Only when you go there, you know you are buying pig. Only don't make it too expensive, though. Just a small place. And be decent. Be decent. And that's another issue. Presentation of this product is very, very, very important. When we show picture on Facebook and all these pigs, you see how they are. Who is going to put them out? No, let's be frank with ourselves now. We are professionals, right? This is what when you show all these pigs and you see we pig dying on this, how they are. Who will go and put them out? Imagine a situation that you are explaining to me. So presentation makes a very, very. Please, Mr. Lawrence.
Okay, I want to help our friend from Ilori. Because I think we've discussed this with him in Abuja and either Abuja or Enugu. And I told them that I don't find it difficult selling my pigs. But one thing farmers do is that they don't consider their market while producing.
Mm-hmm.
If you produce more than what you can sell, that's where you have problem.
Exactly.
I'll give you a practical way. Just like Timmy said, if you have a product, you have to market it. If you don't do the marketing, the middleman alone cannot be okay by you. For instance, what I do is this. I've sold pig in Enugu. I've sold in Abuja. I sell in Asaba. What I do is that I identify people that eat pigs. Open a WhatsApp group for them. When I want to slaughter, I will give a notice like on Wednesday that I'll be slaughtering on Saturday. You see others coming. And I will make it clear that the pig is maybe 80 kg, 100 kg. If I don't get up to 50 kg, I will not slaughter. So on their own, they have, if you want to eat pork, you have to work hard to make up that number. I know that even if I get 40, I'll slaughter. Because like Timmy says, that's one of almost the only meat we eat in my house. So anything that is remaining goes to the fridge. And you discover that people actually eat pork, but because it's not sold in the market, they don't know where to get it.
Exactly.
So you need to create the awareness. You know, some of us are ashamed that we are selling pork. Even in my office.
Now you are hitting the top. That's the subject. That's very correct.
Even in the office.
Yes. People are very, very.
In fact, if you go out to market pork, there's no way you will sell less than 100 kg anytime you slaughter. Because it's not like cow that you go to and you see 10 tables selling pork. Nobody sells it in the market. People that eat it, they look for it. Like you say, yes, a lorry, maybe if our brothers know you are eating pork, they will look at you one kind, but is you know what you want and you know what you want to eat.
They don't. They are all hypocrites.
Are you saying that there are no individuals that eat pork? There are no people like you in a lorry.
In they are hypocrites. They eat it. I know. You can see I gave you a thumbs up.
Well, you have to make it
because you are right. You are right, 100%.
See, this is a simple trick. Open a WhatsApp. If you go now, from one person you know, open a WhatsApp group.
You are very right, 100%. Because what you said just now is I just realized that there was a time I wanted to sell, and I just told people that I'm selling and whatever. It wasn't even enough. So what you said now is a wake-up call. I understand you 100%.
You understand? So you need to take it bit by bit. Like if you slaughter, if you can sell 100 in a week, you might be surprised. Somebody will call you and say, I need 30 kg by weekend. Yeah, and so because that is actually the real problem in piggeries marketing in Nigeria. It's not even all this, whether you can produce or not. But the experience, I have a guy in Savannah, he came back from Germany. The guy said he had an issue and they brought him back. He's not thinking of going back again. What he does is slaughtering and selling pigs. Anywhere you have pig. And for him, he prefers to buy pigs 100 kg and above. Just on a table. If you know Asaba very well, opposite, what do they call it? Opposite police club, near Commissioner of Police office, by the express, if you enter by your right. So I think the farmers need to create awareness. It's not just producing, but the bottom line is don't produce more than what you can sell. That's my advice to every pig farmer.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Which also follows to don't produce more than you can feed.
Yes, yes, yes. Something, yeah. So that I bring out the best.
You understand? Don't produce more than you can feed, because at the end of the day, you will be forced to sell at a lower price, which means you are working for these merchants. All right. Then now, since we're around 40 participants left. Now, I want to talk about a topic.
Okay.
The price we sell our pigs.
Okay.
How much we sell the winners and how much we sell the fatteners. I understand we sell everything at 900 naira or whatever they say. Okay. Now, the price we sell, how much, Mr. Lawrence, since you are much more experienced with this, how much do you sell the carcass, which is 75% of the meat, that is without the intestine and the law and the whatever? How much do you sell it?
The last I sold was 2,000 per kg.
2,000 per kg.
Yes.
Is that the general practice?
There's nothing like general practice. I tell you what I sell.
No. I'm just asking because this is correct. It means if you divide it by 75%, it means you sold it for just a moment, I'll tell you. You sold it for as much as 1,010 per kilo live weight.
Yeah, so I sell. Okay, yes. I sell. Initially, I was selling 1,005. When things started going up, I pushed it up to 2,000 because I watch the way the beef goes.
1,000. So the value in live weight is 1,001 that you sold, which is good.
Okay. No, it's good. If you get people buying, it's better than selling whole.
Of course.
If you get people buying, if you have people buying, it's better. What I do is there's no 2 weeks I don't slaughter a pig.
All right. You see, Mr. Daviland. You see?
And towards stories about African swine fever, I sell off everything and hold on. That's what I do. Like Abuja, I held on in Abuja for now. Asaba is on. Enugu, sometime African swine fever got me there, 2018. Side and the problem of not being around because I am a government worker. So anytime you are not there, it's like the farm goes down. That's another major issue about another major problem.
Okay. Okay. I want to share. I want to stop recording now.
Okay.
I want to